Ho, ho, ho! Welcome, everybody, to another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show. I am John Roca.
And I am Matt Nost. We hope you all enjoyed last week's live interactive version with our patrons, and you enjoyed it. Even if you're not a patron, that you still found the show enjoyable. And we're back to normal recording this time, but we're gonna do those twice a month. So like it or lump it, you fuckers are getting that twice a month.
Absolutely. And hopefully some of you saw the fun that it was, want to participate, and you've gone and joined us at the Patreon at the $10 and above level. It's a perk we're throwing out there for those of you who are there, because I know we're not doing golden ticket for right now. So we thought we'd throw another perk out there for those who are $10 and above patrons. And that's coming in to watch us do the show live. You're essentially watching our banter live, our back and forth. We know we almost never edit, so you're getting, in essence, a live show every single time, like we did in London, like we did in Chicago, like we did in LA, and wanted to do in assorted other places for sure before the whole COVID situation came and went.
Next us in Houston and in London again.
Toronto, too, we were considering as well.
Yeah, and the venue in Chicago reached back out and was trying to set up a date with us, and yeah, we had plans, guys, and that's all right. Yeah, life will return to normal eventually. Yeah, and we will get there. But we hope you enjoyed it, and also, we got to interact with some people and saw some comments in real time. People kind of playing along with the show. We brought in my new mortal enemy, Drew. Who flipped against me twice. You prick. He had only head. But it was fun, and we'll probably more than likely need a coin flipper each and every time.
We will. And maybe if we feel comfortable enough as we do more of these, expand out maybe an extra 10-15 minutes afterwards, bring people in quickly to ask a question or two live of me and Matt, and have a little fun with us. So those are the things we're looking at. So if you haven't joined the Patreon, or if you're at the $1 or $5 level and you can jump up to the $10 level, this is another perk that you can get for sure. So interactions with us, the show early, and get to possibly be on the show, which is always a lot of fun too. So there you go. Thanks to everybody who joined us. Yeah, sorry.
And the game plan is to do it on the second and fourth Thursdays of the month.
Right.
We're supposed to have Colson be our guest on the second show of next month. Technically the third by the time you hear it, but it'll be the second recording we do of that month.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna keep it straight in our heads. So we got to see if he's into it, but if not, you'll still get your two. So maybe we'll just shift to third and fourth or something. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But we plan on getting you 2 a month, and we hope you enjoyed it. And let's do something, interact more with people, and try and give more perks for our patrons, just as our way of saying thanks.
Yep. And we're always open to suggestions. So if you have any perks that you'd like to see from us that would motivate you to jump up, maybe it's something Matt and I would consider. You can always email us at the email that we put out. What's the email that we use? top10podcast@gmail.com.
Correct.
If you want, you can always send us thoughts or ideas or whatever to kind of spark a little creativity from us to inspire other people to join. For sure. We love that. Speaking of perks of being a patron, one of the perks, if you're at the $50 and above level, the Boss Hog level, you get to suggest a topic. And that's what's happening today, Matt.
We look forward to this each and every month because it's nice to get a different way to look at topics.
Yeah.
And people come in with, it's kind of crazy because the way we normally do it is like either whatever movie is coming out or something, but there's like a general train of thought when we're going into a weekend. And when we get the topic ideas from our patrons, it's like 6 or 8 different things. Like they send 6 or 8, and they're all completely different from one another. And just like there's a lot of interesting stuff to choose from. Yep. So much so that we're doing back-to-back weeks of Boss Hogs. We're not going to tell you what next week's is. But we liked another topic from somebody else. And we're like, you know what? We want to do that one next week because that's fun. Yeah. That's a good one.
Agreed.
There's been Chuck's, been pretty excellent about this. He comes up with like 6 to 8 new ones every single month. And this time he was like, what about original villains?
Yeah.
So no pre-existing property, no literary characters, nothing historical. Somebody that was just made, a character was specifically made for that movie or those movies, I guess.
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, that sounds like fun. There's a lot to choose from.
Yeah. I mean, this was an interesting challenge because Matt and I discussed it after we were kicking around a couple of the topics from Charles's list. Of course, shout out to Charles Clark, who's our patron who suggested the topic today. And there were a number of good ones from a number of people who sent stuff in, but this one kind of stood out to us because it's an unusual challenge. This idea of finding the top 10 original villains on film who do not have source material behind them. That's what we said, right? No book, no comic book, no nothing. It has to have been created specifically for the movie.
Exactly. Not a historical figure, like something that out of thin air, whoever wrote or created it, they created specifically for this.
Yeah.
And you know what? I looked up everybody on my list save for one character, but I'm fairly certain that one character is not.
Well, I also tried to stay away from historical characters who were created for something that actually happened. I didn't do any of that. So
I don't have any of that either.
Cool.
Because I was like, you're pre-existing, and that kind of violates the spirit of what Chuck sent us. So I didn't do it, even if they took, like, if you wanted to say, like, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer. Like, Lincoln didn't do that, and be like, yeah, but because you name it Abraham Lincoln, we have expectations of what that character is going to be beforehand.
Exactly.
And that's, that's not what he presented as a topic, and we're trying to stay true to his topic.
I had one that was excellent, but I couldn't use it, Matt, because it is a parody of another actual person. And someone said to me on Twitter, because I sometimes run my lists by a couple of friends of mine to make sure if my mind needs to get jogged about certain things. And they were like, nope, it's a parody of this character. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch.
Well, what was it? Because I don't think I've got anything remotely like that.
Really? All right.
Let me
Dr. Evil. Because that's a parody of Blofeld.
Oh, Lorne Michaels. Oh, yeah. Blofeld. Yeah. Sure.
So I was like, shit, I can't. And that one was going to be a fun one to put on the list.
That is a good one.
The villain doesn't have to necessarily be the evil. It could be something funny too. So I struggled and I couldn't put that on the list. And I was mad.
That is a good one. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Dr. Strangelove for a half a second there. And you started the doctor. And I was like,
Doctor. And there's other ones that I considered, but I didn't think they were villainous enough. And so I kind of wanted, if they were going to be a dramatic villain, I had to see some sort of villainy that inspired me to put it on the list. But if I didn't, then I didn't put it. And I tried to keep it to not the same actor as well, like one villain per actor type or actress.
Yeah, I did it. There's one specifically that you could take two. To me, and I chose the more evil of the two. I also did roughly not exactly what you're saying, but took into account the motivations.
Yes.
And if the motivation of whatever the villain was an inch deep as opposed to a mile deep, like the villain is just killing because they kill. Just like, well, if that's, then you are kind of, even if the movie is good, it's like, your motivation to me, villainy is like, mustache twirling. Yeah. They put a plan in place or did something. So I excised a couple off my list because I'm like, but that individual is kind of a puppet for something else. It's like, well, that's the true, but we don't ever really see them.
Right.
And just like, I can't, yes, it's a great villain, but not, I don't know. That's not what I'm arbitrarily choosing to define this for myself.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of, that's the nice thing from the Chuck sent us. Yeah. It's like the internal discussion too. And I like the Dr. Evil one. I did not think of that.
Yeah.
I tried to, before we were recording, you said you had a long day. I've had a series of long days.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah. It happens,
Yeah.
So I racked my brain to do this as best I could, but I feel like that Dr. Evil thing is like, shit, I was already beating myself up because I felt like I'm leaving 10 on the table somewhere. So I'm like, that's a good one. What else did I miss? So this is going to be one that hopefully Charles, when we get to his list, he's got some excellent ones to shame me with.
I'm down with that too. Like, shame the shit out of me because I was shocked about some of the ones that I had on my list, and then I did just casually doing research. I'm like, oh fuck, it's based on a short story, or it's based on a previous small film.
I had one like that too.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a great one. Be like, well, technically it was a short film, And then they redid. I'm like, but it doesn't count. It's a pre-existing. That's a good one
tough.
though.
It was tough
because she is evil. That's who we're talking about. Isn't
she is evil, evil. And
yeah.
I was so proud. I was like, yes, I'm putting this on the list. That's a horror movie. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, it's flat out.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do a flip-flop on the genders. Still a horrible, like, evil movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to find some female villains. I don't know. I because of but I've never seen a single white female, so I don't know how deep her villainy goes in that movie. So yeah.
I don't know. I've seen it. I will never see it again.
Yeah.
It's also too just like, I want to be a villain in a movie that I know that I like or will watch again.
Yeah.
Single white female, like I'm good.
I've seen it. I'm good.
Like The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I'm good.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's nothing against all those involved, but I've seen it.
Yeah. And just about every female villain I've seen in film is based on a source character. Pretty much. That I found at least. So we shall see though. Or they weren't villainous enough in my mind.
Okay.
To warrant. But I think there's one. But I don't know. We'll see.
I also tried to do a little mix up, especially at the bottom of my list, just to have a little more fun.
Sure.
So you could tell me that somebody was more villainous, be like, that's totally true.
Right.
But it's also landing in the bottom like 3 or 4 on my list. So it's not, there's so many to choose from. And I already felt like I was missing shit. So I was like, screw it. I'm going to put these on there. So there you go.
I'm going to go with that.
But yeah, Charles, good topic. We thank you for sending it in, and we will get to your list at the end. We also have shout outs at the very end. So stay tuned for that. And if you don't know what that is, you're new to the show. Everybody that donates at $5 and above at the end of the month, as our way of saying thank you, we shout your name out for technically be the last show of the month, but February is a short month and it kind of screwed us. So it's the first but we're recording this in February. So we're honoring it to some degree.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
But anyway, I'm ready to jump in. What about you?
Yeah, let's do it. You want to tell them how the show works, Matt?
Yep. Once we set a topic, or Charles set a topic for us, we go our individual ways, great personal top 10 list. Show back up here. I do my bottom 3. He does his bottom 3. I do my next 2. He does his next 2. Then we trade 1 apiece. Once we have revealed our personal top 10 list, we create the shows between the two of us.
Boom.
So I'll jump right in at 10.
All right, 10.
Not sure how villainous.
Okay.
But he's a villain, and I like it, and I like the movie. It's Tama or Tama, I don't know how you say his name, from the Raid Redemption.
Oh, nice. Okay. Go ahead. You love these movies.
Well, I'm definitely a big fan of the first one. I like the second one. A lot of people think it's better. But I happily rewatch the first one more than I will the second, just because, I don't know, that kind of introduced me to these individuals and this new genre-ish. Not really new, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't see many of those types of movies. So it was a nice little spark of joy to find a different genre, so to speak. And he's always stuck with me, and it kills me that I don't see him more often, because I just thought he had such a commanding presence within it. And if you've seen, I would imagine, I know you have, I'm saying generally for those listening or watching, if you've seen Dredd, he's basically Mama, the Lena Headey
right
character that he controls this big apartment complex type of thing, and the cops show up and he shuts it down and goes on the loudspeaker and basically like, if you kill them, I will take care of you. But he turns this entire apartment structure, it goes on lock, and it turns into a killing field. And he's sitting in his penthouse, but it's this dark, like depressing, and also you can feel the grossness of him kind of exuding in the little world he's created in this room. And I just, ever since I saw him, I was like, wow, this guy easily translates over. I can't wait to see him in more things. And, 2 or 3 of the other actors have gone on to be in Force Awakens and other movies. And I just always assumed that guy would translate, because a good heavy is, it's always good.
Yeah, and it's tough to find. Yeah.
Somebody
John Wick 3, I think. Yeah. That's a good choice. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, or else I would have had more to offer at this moment. But I have not seen the movie in a very, very long time.
Okay.
So I don't recall too much about it. in terms of the villain, but I do remember that it is a balls out awesome action film. Have you watched Gangs of London yet? Did you finish that one yet?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. I've seen the first episode or maybe the first two.
Yeah.
And then just completely I liked it. Catherine didn't, so then we didn't watch it together. But
gotcha.
Yeah, I'll catch up on it. I forgot about that. Good call.
Yeah. If you haven't joined the AMC Plus, you can join for a free trial for 7 days. I bet you can knock that thing out in the 7 days and then cancel the free trial, which is what I always do.
I wish they would just fold that into stubs. And then we just, or A-list or whatever it is.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice. And everybody, you and I included, they've got an email. We're going to extend that renewal deadline because it's like, oh, really? Because you don't have any theaters open? You better not be charging $20 a month or $25, whatever it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I got that email and I was like, that's probably smart PR on your part.
All right.
Yeah, he's a great heavy. It's also my 10. So if you want to tell me there are other villains that are more villainous and whatnot, totally. But
I'm not going to fight you. That's your list, brother. Not at all.
10.
Yeah. All right. What's your next? What's your 9?
My 9 is Bricktop and Snatch.
Oh, good choice. Good choice.
I just wanted something different.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a mix of none of these people are really good people, so to speak.
Right.
But he seems the most grounded in the type of villain you could actually run into.
Yes.
And he's got
curse your life that you did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When he's talking about the pigs, that is a man that has fed a lot of bodies to pigs.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not saying it's like to scare you. It's so matter of fact, like how much meat a pig can go through, how quickly they'll devour a body. And you're like, oh my God, this dude, minimum 100 people. He has watched pigs devour minimum.
At least. Yeah.
And everybody's so fearful of him. He's got that big hulking mass of a dude.
Yeah.
That is his, basically his hammer in the world is just a bunch of nails.
Mm-hmm.
And all these different disgusting planets orbit him, but they all fear him collectively.
Yeah.
As bad as the others may be, he is worse.
Yep.
And I just figured for a villain, because that's someone that we actually could run into.
Oh, yeah.
It makes his villainy a little bit more palpable on some level.
Yep.
Because it doesn't reach the huge heights that other villains on our list do.
Yeah.
Because it's the sad, mundanity of the underbelly of life. And that is on some level more shocking and horrifying.
He's a fantastic villain. I may end up putting him on my list depending on how we have our conversations and how it goes along. But he was one of the last remaining cuts because he never actively does anything in the whole movie to be villainous.
Yeah,
like himself personally, that I didn't 100% get there with him. But the menace of him is certainly villainous as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And
but it's like Paulie and Goodfellas. He doesn't have to.
Right.
And Paulie's a real character, so that's one of the reasons that no Goodfella makes my list.
Fair. That's fair.
Or any real mob movie that I could think of. Although I'm potentially missing. There's got to be, but at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's just, he doesn't have to move quick. He doesn't have to do the dirty work because he's at the top of the heap. And all the people, all the scumbags are fearful of him, which makes him king of the scumbags.
King of the fucking scumbags. I like it.
And sadly, on some level, I think he would appreciate a nickname like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
because he's not the type that's trying to elevate himself into some posh existence, like buy himself into the upper class. Yeah. I think he still likes being blue collar, working class, grinding.
Yeah. I like it.
As opposed to the card cheat and lock stock. Like that dude definitely wants to think of himself as moving up in the world, and Bricktop has no illusions as to who he is.
No. Harry is I don't know. Harry is more of a bitch villain, and Bricktop is more of a like, oh no, this is who I am, and I don't give two shits about it.
Yeah.
Oof, you're right. All right. So what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Little Bill in Unforgiven.
Oh man, that's great. Fuck. All right, I'm putting it on my list. That's a good villain.
Well, he comes in with a smile.
It's not,
you know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
And the town, on the face of it, the town looks like they think he's a good guy. and they all revere him, and he walks around, and this is his little corner of the world where he is God.
Yeah.
And when you strip away the veneer, and I'm not saying that William Money is a good person. He's not. By his own admission, he's a terrible person.
Yeah.
But at least he's understanding of why he's terrible, whereas Little Bill feels that all the people he kills, he is justified in killing.
Right.
And this town that's under his thumb, well, it's better off for being under my thumb.
Yeah.
It's just such a good villain, because there's another one where that dude definitely existed at some point. Not saying Little Bill himself. I'm saying that type of individual in the West.
Yeah.
Where these little towns of 100 people, 150 people that have one sheriff. It's like, yeah, that dude ruled the roost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
All right. I'm going to let you know at the end where I put him, but I'm thinking about it now. That's great choice. He's such a fantastic villain, and Hackman plays him so well. And the thing about him is, like, you are kind of half on his side initially, and then he takes that, and then he just kicks the shit out of Richard Harris, or he whips Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
Or the way he messes with other people, like when he messes with the writer and he pisses his pants. All of it, he just has a vicious streak when he doesn't need to have one, and especially against the women, like when he's like so cruel to the Francis Fisher and the prostitutes that are there. Yeah,
he does all that stuff, right? And at the very end, when Money's got him bested, and he's like, "I don't deserve this," and Money's like, "Deserve ain't got nothing to do with it." So that means in Little Bill's mind, on some level, all the terrible things that he did before were deserved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Money, as bad as he is, understands deserve ain't got nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where it's just like, there you go, man. Money's an anti-hero, but you're just a bad person. You're a villain through and through. Yeah.
Okay. I like it. It's a great choice, my man. All right. So then my number 10, because I gotta put him in here, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, because I hope there's no source material, is Biff Tannen. Does Biff qualify?
He was a tough cut.
Oh,
he qualifies.
All right.
Qualifies.
I had to put him in here because the definition of a villain is someone who stops the protagonist, the good-hearted protagonist, from achieving something that he needs to achieve, and ruins the lives of the protagonists until the antagonist is beat. So when we see the beginning of Back to the Future, Biff is a dick and a jerk to Marty and his dad. You can tell there's a menace to him. And that shout out to the actor. Was it Thomas F. Wilson? Is that his name? I think that's his name. He does
the bald-headed the principal? Who are you talking about? Thomas F. Wilson.
The one who plays Biff, the guy who plays Biff. I think it's
Tom Wilson. Yeah.
Tom
sorry.
Wilson, yeah.
I've never heard it as Thomas F.
Yeah, my bad. I don't know.
Yeah, Tom Wilson.
Tom Wilson.
That's like, oh, okay. Who's got a 3-parter in that movie?
But like, he's such a jerk at the beginning of the movie. And then when Marty goes back in time, you see why his entire life, what he thinks his entire life is all fucked up because of this shit with Biff. And then you meet Biff as a kid, as a teenager, and he's an absolute jerk. And he essentially is going to rape Leah Thompson, which is really uncomfortable, man.
True.
And so there's a lot that Biff does. And then, of course, when Biff goes into, we can leave the other 2 and 3 out of it. Just one alone, he's a pretty bad villain. He wants to, destroy Marty, wants to beat that kid up. But he also, in that moment with George, he is really going to jump in there. And Leah Thompson's face when she reached over and she says, "Help me," you're just like, oh my God, this is horrible. So he's a pretty ruthless guy. And then, of course, at the end, he's a fucking little bitch. But like, I think he's such a great villain in this movie. So that's what I put him there. I put 10.
Yeah, I agree. He was good. I think he's either 11 or 12.
Fair. Totally fair.
On my list.
And he might go down to 11, depending on where I put Little Bill. So we'll see. Awesome. All right. So my number 9 then is Vincent from Collateral.
Oh, that's a punt.
Oh, all
at
right.
9?
Nice. Yeah, like I said, it's weird places. Then my number 8 is Agent Smith. Do you have Agent Smith on your list from the Matrix movies?
So this is what part of the motivation of he's working for the architect or the overlords.
Is he though?
Well, I guess
remember he branches out and does his own thing as the series goes along.
Yeah, but then he kind of almost identifies with Neo. Like, thank you, you liberated me. I don't know. I had a tough back and forth. He's a great call. I've wrote him down on the side list, but then I was like, is he? And how good a villain was he? Because he got thwarted over, 3 separate movies.
Yeah.
Even when 100 of them.
I think every villain on our list gets thwarted at some point. But,
true.
But I hear your point. Because Neo seems to always get the best of him as it goes along. But
even when there's 100 of them, Neo gets the best of them.
Right. That weird CGI fight.
That's the worst, man. For a movie, for a series that has some excellent CGI, that is so bad.
You're watching. I remember sitting in the theater watching that scene, and I was like, "Whoa!"
Oh yeah, it looks in real time. It looked terrible.
Yeah, you're just like, "Oh."
Well, it'd be one thing if that was the first movie,
right.
But the first one was incredible
because you're setting a tone.
Yeah, right. And you can always grow from there and be like, CGI gets better with every passing year,
right? And
it's just like, wow, you guys went backwards. Mm-hmm. I really hope the next one's good.
Yeah, I know, dude.
I don't have any fucking faith in that.
Nope. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I hope it's good. But yeah, I'm with you. Not a lot of faith in that is all.
No.
But I mean, like in that first movie, he is all over Neo. Remember, he shuts his mouth essentially, puts that thing inside of his body, then shoots him and kills him. The vicious martial arts fights they get into.
Yeah.
He's always besting Neo until the last moment of the movie. So, and almost kills him.
I think,
and gets Joe Pantoliano to turn, and then kills all those other people that were on his crew, and burns what's his face, Bulldozer, I think his name is. Yeah, Dozer. Sorry,
Dozer. Yeah. Had it ended after the first movie, I think I would have put him on my list.
That's fair.
Because he is everything you just brought up. He's a son of a bitch.
He is, man.
He is so good.
Yeah. In the second movie, he consumes everyone, but Neo still kind of gets away. And in the third movie, he really gets
flying around.
In the third movie, he gets even more vicious when he becomes the human being inside their matrix. That's pretty vicious too. When the guy's like, when it kills, the taste of blood. But yeah,
they never really discuss any of that. Like it happened, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And how Neo has power over the bots in the real world.
Yeah.
Like that's never really brought up again. There's just it got into Abrams territory of we're bringing up shit that's never going to be resolved, but it's nowhere near the same level. But
all right, I like it. All right, well then, what's your 7, man?
My 7 is Calvin Candy from Django.
Oh, nice choice. Good choice. All right.
Just because he's a slaver, you know what I mean? How often do we see those?
Totally, man.
And
but does this count? Because Django is based on those original Italian movies, Gianfranco Nero, those Django movies.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can put it in there. You can put it in there.
No, that's fine. Cool that's fine. No, if that's because that disqualified others. So then I would probably, let me see, on my sides, we'll stick to the 1 per actor rule.
Okay.
You know who I think was going to be next on my list?
Okay.
So I think it'd be Biff, or it was going to be Ivan Drago.
Oh, Drago. Good choice, dude.
So I'll slot in Drago just because.
I think you should. That's a good one, man.
Why not?
Yeah.
And we'll slip in at 10. We'll bump the others up. And Drago's great.
It's the 4th in the series, but it still counts because it's an original villain.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Drago before. It is not based on anything. So it's perfect.
Rocky was created for the screen, even though he took it from a fight that he saw.
Right. Not the same thing.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
As opposed to everything else. And Rocky 4 is my favorite of the series, which is we've discussed before. I know.
Yes, we have.
Most people do not agree with me. That's fine.
I feel like we should do a special review episode when he releases the new edit of Rocky 4.
Oh, where he takes the robot out.
He's taking a lot of things out. Apparently, he's gonna be a more serious approach. He wants a more serious movie, man.
It doesn't need it. It's not made to be serious.
I don't know what to tell you, man. We're gonna have to watch it, I think, and do a review.
I mean, that's fine. I'm still gonna like what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll do it for Patreon or something. They could do a watch along and they can see our reaction.
Holy shit, that would be great. I'm down with that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. When does that come out?
Not for a while. Probably not till November, I think. I think.
Will that be roughly around the time we're getting the vaccine? So we'll probably still be doing this. Yeah, it may not be streaming by then.
Oh, yeah, right. November 27th. It's slated for release on November 27th. My God, that takes forever. Why is it taking forever?
I don't. That doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah.
Does he really think re-releasing it in theaters is going to do something? Why not put it on a streaming platform? And
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. We shall see.
Who knows? Maybe it was part of a deal for Expendables 7. And it's just like, well, if you're going to take the rights to this, then I need you to agree to do this.
God help us. You know, it was the third highest grossing movie of 1985, it was behind Rambo First Blood Part 2, came out in the same year, and Back to the Future, which was $210 million. Wow.
Wow. So he had 2 out of the top 3?
2 out of top 3, man.
That's crazy. In no way do I remember Stallone being that big. You know what I mean? He was huge, but to be 2 out of the top 3 is rarefied air.
That's and back when movies weren't making $100 million standard over their run, you know, he had 150 million for Rambo and 127 million for Rocky IV. Good God.
Yeah, and adjusted for inflation, it's probably like 180 to 190 for one and 150-ish for the other. That's still solid for domestic, box office.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right. There it is. Yeah, but Dolph Lundgren does such a great job with it. And when he comes back in Creed 2, holy shit, dude. That movie is so good because of him being a part of it. And that scene with him and Rocky in the restaurant, when you juxtapose it with every other scene he's had with Apollo, like there's real animosity between him and Drago in that scene. It's potent. And you see, like, Dolph Lundgren can, like, if it's the right role, that some bitch can bring it.
It's so weird because the recipe of Dolph Lundgren seemed like he was set to do anything. He was a doctorate student or something ridiculous.
He's an MIT graduate. His family is like all fucking technical engineers. They're all like geniuses, his fucking family. It's insane.
And he was like a high-level martial artist or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he decides to get into acting, and he's been some of the biggest movies. You're like, dude, this dude is unstoppable. And then apparently was fully stoppable. It's like the movie Unstoppable, spoiler alert, they stopped that train.
Right.
But just to have, like, dude, he's got the looks, he's got the brains, he could kick your ass. Like, what doesn't this dude have? And then eventually the universe stepped in and was like, they're not going to have everything. It's just impressive.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's the perfect foil to the embodiment of capitalism. And here's these underhanded Ruskies pumping them full of steroids like it's the Olympics to take down our Philly born and raised, just made of iron, little short to be the Italian man.
If he dies, he dies.
He dies.
Oh yeah, so good. Plus, you got the driven wife in Brigitte Nielsen, corrupt Russian political official is there. All of it. It just works so well.
Yeah, I watched that training montage like a couple months ago, just where he's running up the mountain. Stallone is on early HGH, like the shit synthesized from monkey testosterone, like whatever the early versions was. There's no way that he has that musculature naturally. Oh, that's fine. I don't care, Stallone. You do you.
Yeah.
So long as you're not breaking the law, I don't care. And even if you are, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's a victimless crime as far as I'm concerned.
He was apparently importing these shots. That's what the rumors came.
Oh, dude, when HGH first came out, and he was like, everybody should be on this.
Was a problem.
It was like around the Balco early 2000s time when.
Balco,
and I think he got popped for flying into New Zealand or Australia or something, and he had him in his private jet. Yeah.
Right.
And he was like, as far as I'm concerned, every man above a certain age should be taking this. And then you see him in Expendables, and it's just like ridiculous. Although, you know what I found out? So a long time ago when we were talking about Days of Future Past, and Jackman stands up, and I was like, there's no way you get that without HGH.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't think his was HGH.
Oh.
It's the same thing that Cavill and all those other guys do, they draw down their water intake to where it's next to nothing, and they're on the verge of pure dehydration, and they shoot the scenes, and then they go back to so they scale back, and they're down to like, it goes down to a few days beforehand. They cut their, like, say you're supposed to get 2 gallons a day, like to be healthy. 3 days out, they go down to a gallon a day. 2 days out, it's a half gallon. Day before, it's a quarter gallon. Wow. And then day of the shoot, it's like you're taking baby sips. Wow. And it draws the skin in, and that's why they look so veiny and shit. So Cavill said anytime you see him in The Witcher with his shirt off, he's like, I don't drink water on those days, and I'm so fucking pissed off that I just want to get the scenes done. Yeah. So I can go back to eating and shit. Wow. So I think that's more like what Jackman did, whereas in Expendables, pretty sure Stallone's on HGH and some other stuff.
He's massive, dude.
Open admirer of the sub.
He's got a block for a chest now. Like, it's just like,
He's got veins coming out of his veins.
Yeah. But I still love him. I love Last Blood, man. All right. Anyway. All right. Where were we at? Oh, so where are we at now?
Technically my 7. My 6 is Travis Bickle, Taxi Driver.
Ooh, interesting. Good choice, Matt. Okay.
Just another, as unfortunate as it is, someone that could be real.
Yes. Sure.
Like a vet back from the war, PTSD, whatnot. The war messed him up a little bit. He was already kind of a loner and spins off into his own dark, depressing little world, and how that can just devolve into chaos. And I don't know. It's his entire worldview from the way he interacts with Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah.
It's like, that is atypical. And the way that he looks at the world around him is atypical. And the way that he chooses to deal with things as they arise is unlike any other rational individual. But you could say perhaps he's not the greatest of villains, because it's not like he had a huge plan in place. So that's why
he was aiming to kill a political candidate.
That politician.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit, but it's not like others on the list where there's a plan or some Machiavellian type of situation they're trying to construct. Yeah. And as far as mustache twirling villainy, doesn't really have all those aspects of it. But just because of the fact that this type of individual we could see as a docuseries on Netflix in 10 years, you know what I mean? It's like it's easily could, and just, I don't know, it stuck out for that. And I noticed on my list, quite a few of them were like, the closer to reality it gets, the more it resonated with me for this list.
Wow. Well, why did you put in the bottom 5?
Why did I put it in the bottom 5?
Yeah. Is it because he doesn't do
the big plan
more actively? Yeah. Okay. So because he doesn't have a plan, and he's just kind of navigating the world as he sees, and then slowly becoming this kind of unhinged guy.
Yes.
Yeah. And then taking what's her face to a porn movie.
Exactly.
Sybil Shepherd. Really weird.
Just thinking like, well, I want sex, and I'm assuming you want sex, so just kind of this is entertaining too. On top of it, yeah, this is how I choose to interact.
Yeah. You know what struck me, Matt, is we did it on the Cinephiles, and I was watching the movie, and we did it. I mean, watching the movie and talking about Travis Bickle on the show. Like, this movie, Scorsese does such an excellent job for this movie, because there is no backstory to this guy other than he was in the war or he served, and we don't even know if that's the truth. Like, he's the one telling us. Remember, he narrates the whole fucking movie, so we don't know if anything he tells us is correct. We don't know if any background, any point of view, anything he's talking to us is true. So watching it through that prism, it makes him even more unhinged, more of a villain, more of a guy who's like completely manipulating the world or twisting the world to fit this narrative where he is the hero of the piece. In some fucked up way. Do you know what I'm saying? So it is a real deep dive into a dude's actual psychosis in how they view the world. It's more unsettling than people think, and that end moment I think is not real either. I think that end moment is just a big fantasy of his to end the entire fantasy.
Yeah, it could be.
We've seen. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a great performance, man. It's a fantastic film. All right, is that
That's my
six? Okay, so then my number 7 is Don Logan from Sexy Beast.
Ooh, good call.
Right?
Good call. Yeah, it's bound to miss some of them.
He's so good.
Yeah, he
so
is
good. My God, Ben Kingsley is Sir Ben Kingsley is excellent in this movie. It still makes you weep when you see him in shit like I don't know, the Castle Raid 3 or some shit. You see him in that bullshit, and you're just like, what are you doing? But he's so excellent in this movie, unsettling as hell, just a battering ram of I don't know, villainy, I guess, showing up, completely messing up this dude's life, his former work associate, and his relationship, insulting his wife. Then his former girlfriend is friends with them, but with another dude, and he completely fucking mentally violates everybody at that place until he gets what happens to him. But I mean, that shit when he's peeing on the carpet, when he randomly works himself into a fury and kicks Ray Winstone out of bed and all, like, it's just the nuttiness of it all, man. Menace all the way through.
Yeah, and it's this like self-fulfilling prophecy on some level. He's unhappy because he's made himself unhappy because I don't think he could deal with happiness.
Right. Or
So
emotions.
Yeah, any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great call. He's just a gross human being. The range on Kingsley, man.
Yeah, dude. And again, he never actively hurts anybody, but he just with his mouth, he is violating them. He is attacking them. He is destroying them from the inside out. That's almost worse than getting shot. It's almost worse than getting shot.
In your own home, and you have to walk on eggshells because if you don't, this dude is liable to kill you.
Yeah, yeah.
And like the worst way he could cook up at whatever moment, whatever fit of rage he's in that time.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
Yes. Anyway, so good. All right, then my number 6 is the Terminator.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the first movie, everything. I don't count anything after that, but the first movie, it's Schwarzenegger. Oh, you can go to the second one, I guess, as well, if you want to go T-1000 if you want. But the Terminator, I would go here because, I mean, when you watch this movie, Schwarzenegger is a goddamn killing machine. From the beginning to the end, he is an unstoppable killing machine. And yeah, the T-1000 had better whatever abilities in all the subsequent Terminators. They've had better abilities, but I don't think any of them have matched the menace of Schwarzenegger. Even the last one, which I like, Terminator Dark Fate, no one has been able to match the menace that Schwarzenegger had in the first movie as the Terminator. Because this is still Schwarzenegger when he's massive. And when he's showing up at that biker bar and he pretty much tears everybody to pieces, rolls out on his own. Then when he's like just chasing Sarah down, shooting her roommate, shooting random people in a club, he doesn't give a fuck. And he's relentless. You can't stop him. And the scene when he's like fixing his face and all that shit in the hotel room, it's so freaky for that time. So to me, it's a villain that just it just will not stop, and is technologically and physically so far ahead of you that it's almost impossible to defeat him until they eventually do. But it's a hell of a thing, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
I thought about it just because, as evidence in T2, you can reprogram them. So ultimately they're the puppets of whoever created them. And that's the true villain because they have the plan and they're the ones that are sending back.
So like Skynet is what
Skynet is, but you never see Skynet. Skynet is a nebulous type of, so it's like, if I'm applying this definition to other characters on my list, then if I'm being fair, then I need to apply it here. But I put down both Terminator and T-1000 because they're both excellent.
Fair enough. All right. What's your 5?
My 5 is Norman Stansfield in The Professional.
Oh yeah, Gary Oldman. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, man.
Just coked or whatever drug he is on, out of his mind. It's an amazing performance. From Oldman, and B, there are numerous real life stories of cops being corrupted, especially within the drug division. Go watch American Gangster or the Prince of New York.
Yeah.
And you get an understanding of the corruption on the drug side of law enforcement and how, hey, they walked in and we seized $500,000 in cash. There was actually 1.2, but the four of us that showed up on the scene split the rest of it type of thing. And somehow we all drive insanely nice cars on a $40,000 a year salary. Yeah. And we have homes and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And just because like when he walks in and they kill that family so nonchalantly.
Yeah, man.
And he looks at them as nothing but speed bumps between him and his money.
Yep.
Him and his drugs, him and his money, all of it. Yeah. That is pure evil manifest. Mm-hmm. And it's another instance of that dude definitely exists right now somewhere in the world. There is a law enforcement officer that is just fucking crazy with power. Although now, if every camera or every country goes to body cams and all that, maybe it makes it a little bit more difficult. But I can't imagine detectives wearing body cams anytime soon.
No,
so
true, very true.
So this dude may still exist even after body cams on all patrol officers. Just the reality of the individual.
Yeah,
makes it so disturbing to me.
Okay.
And Oldman's performance is second to none. I mean, it's one of those times where he couldn't chew enough scenery for me.
Yeah. I mean, everyone, the whole thing of him, it's incredible. This is around that time when he's perfecting this kind of role, because there's a film that gets lost in his resume, Romeo is Bleeding, where he is this corrupt cop and Lena Olin is this like just maddeningly insane villain who uses her wiles and her sex and her brains to get the best of him throughout the whole fucking movie. And he is like driven more mad as the movie goes along as a detective. And they starts to do more villainous shit to try to get into her. So you see him really kind of use some of that in The Professional as well. It's excellent, man. You're right. It's such a good movie. And it's one that people seem to forget that he is in, and they focus more on Jean Reno and his character, Natalie Portman. But like the Gary Oldman villainy in this film is top notch. Absolutely top notch.
Yeah, he's my favorite part of it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. For a guy who's played villains a lot, this is one that really stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay. So let's see. That was your 5?
That was my 5.
So my 5 is Freddy Krueger.
Okay. Good call.
Yeah. I mean, I just think what is worse than someone who can actually infiltrate your dreams and cause you to die? Like that is such a place of non-control. You know, it's like being out in the water 100 feet out. Like you're just like, fuck, I don't know what if I get caught up in something or something comes underneath my feet, how the hell am I going to get out of here? And being in a dream sequence or whatever, we've all been in those crazy dreams where we seem to can't wake up or can't make ourselves wake up. And imagine taking advantage of that and take you down that path. It's just insane to think about. So for me, it stands out in that way. Plus Robert Englund does such an incredible job, and his jokes, his banter, a little more of an off-key villain, but one that can legitimately kill you in such uniquely unusual ways in every one of these films, and especially in the good ones,
Yeah, he's got personality as opposed to just being a faceless killing machine.
Right. Yeah.
Which I excluded a bunch of those from the list for me personally. Because I was like, but while I think that movie is excellent, it's like you could replace that technically with this dude from that movie. And it's a lot of the same. Whereas Krueger is singular.
Yeah.
I never really got it. I don't watch much horror. So
okay. Right.
I understand why people like the Friday the 13th.
Right.
And maybe more passionate about that than say, I don't ever hear anyone really defending Jason Voorhees like they do Freddy Krueger because of the personality that Freddy brings to it.
Yeah.
And the punny jokes and all that stuff. Because when it works, it's really good.
Oh, yeah.
When it goes bad, it's somehow worse. But at least they're trying.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. What's your 4?
My 4 is the punt from earlier, Vincent Collateral.
Oh, nice. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I just surprised. We both think Tom Cruise should play a villain again.
You're right, but okay, fair. But he's doing a job. He's got a job to do. He's just a hitman. So I was like, I didn't go as high with him because he's not overtly villainous. Well, maybe he is. I'm sorry. Never. You take it. It's your higher number, so you take it.
Put it this way. How do you get into being that cold and calculated as a job? You You did that before for free.
Yeah, true. Great point. Like you were killing people for free and then realized, I could get paid for this.
Or you were in the military more than likely and decided to turn this to your, financial advantage.
Yeah, I could see that.
And went out into the world and now are out. More than likely, you enjoy this because it is your chosen vocation.
Right.
And just because you're cold and calculating, by the way in which you do it, doesn't to me, like the definition I put earlier against Smith or the Terminators of, but it was somebody else motivating. You could say that about this, but at the same time, I also think that he would do this for free. I do. If there was no fear, like if he knew he wasn't going to get caught.
Oh, yeah.
I think Vincent would happily go kill those people. He's like, yeah, sure. I don't care. They're more than likely not living, just like he calls out Jamie Foxx's character, his island, and his eventual limo company is all bullshit. It's the lie you tell yourself because you're stuck in a job that you hate. And I can liberate that from, liberate you from that existence right now, if you like. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. It's just that, man. He's just so divorced of his own humanity. And I think that's what makes him so villainous to me. It's yes, we are genetically similar, but you stopped being a person a long time ago.
That's a great point, man. Oh, that's good. All right. So where are we at now?
That was my 4. So what do you got?
Okay, my 4 is Noah Cross from Chinatown.
Great call.
Dude, this is my girlfriend's favorite movie. So I've had to. Yeah. I mean, just as bar none. It is her absolute favorite movie because she grew up in Northern California. So the water stuff is something she's been told about all her entire life. Like she's known about the history of how water came to California, all the corrupt ways it all happened. So, but it wasn't until we met and she really kind of talked about the movie. And then we went to see it one time at a, outdoor viewing experience on the rooftop stuff. We had this like long ass conversation about it, and it inspired me and Steve to do it on the Cinephile. So discussing Noah Cross, I became more and more convinced that this is one of these kind of low key but distinctly powerful and unsettlingly true villains. You talked earlier on the list, Matt, about these people that you could actually run into. You could actually run into this guy.
Oh yeah.
Right. Anywhere. And just John Huston's voice is so perfect for this role, the kind of Mr. Getz, come on in here, Mr. Getz. All of that kind of gets it. But then you start to see the machinations of how nefarious and evil this guy is. He's villainous in a way that unsettles you because if you have any sense of a moral compass, this guy has none. And when you're going up against someone who doesn't have a moral compass, you have to ask yourself, am I willing to go to that level in order to beat this thing? And if you can't, in the end, you're most likely going to lose. And someone like him who's rich and insulated and slept with his daughter to have another daughter, and just the madness of it all is so crazy. And then, of course, what he ends up pulling, because he has all the money, he controls the cops, controls the area. And then when you find out all the shit he's done to keep the water, or to put himself in a position to make money off the water, like he just used people all the way down the line. You just know this is a villain that is unsettling and not fantastical at all. He's just truthful, and that scares the shit out of me, man. There are people like this.
It's great. Yeah, it's a great choice. It's a great choice.
Yeah.
I don't think I didn't think about it because I didn't write it down on my side list. You're always going to forget something.
Of course. I fucking Will Bill as a Westerns guy. I can't believe I forgot that. All right, what's your number 3, man?
My 3 is so when Charles sent this to us, and I gave an example, and then you gave an example. It is the example that you gave.
Oh, okay.
Which is Hans Gruber.
See, now I have to ding you on this, and I don't want to.
Is it based on something?
It's based on a book. Die Hard is based on a book.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
I know.
Now that you say it aloud, because we had the discussion, I was like, oh, yeah. My first 2 that I wrote down were the first 2 we talked about there. And I was like, those are easy. I totally forgot about that.
I know. I wrote it down myself, dude. I had it on my list up until this afternoon. And I was like, oh, shit. Wait a minute. Is this thing based on a book? Die
Hard is based on a book.
And the villain, his last name is Gruber. It's not Hans, but it is Gruber. So, yeah.
Yeah, but totally. I don't give a shit if his name was Charlie Smith. it's based on a book. Because I wrote down, initially I wrote Jaws, and I was like, well, Jaws is based on the book. So that I scratched off my list, and I wrote down a couple others, and I was like, once I thought about it for 2 seconds, like, I just type them out, kind of stream of consciousness, and then go back later and edit down. And I didn't even think twice about Hans Gruber because we had the discussion. All right, so that just bumps everybody up. Biff Tannen will now be a 10.
Oh, whoa!
And we'll bump Hans off. So I don't have technically a number 3 anymore. Vincent is now my number 3.
It's not a bad one to have at number 3. So then my number 3 is John Doe, Kevin Spacey's character from Seven.
That's my deuce. Okay.
Yeah. Oof. He's incredible, man. Incredible in this movie. Go ahead, brother.
The saddest thing to me about it is when they're driving out in his car and he says to Brad Pitt, they're going to be studying me for decades, for centuries. And that could be the realest thing that he said and did in that entire, and the thing is, granted, like the guy that he starves, he does it for a year's time. Like that would be incredibly difficult. Not impossible, but incredible. Like, where's he getting all this money? To live in New York City, to have apartments, his apartment, and then, the money to go out and do all this stuff and not work a day job type of thing. That aside, they'll be studying me is so true. Go look at all the different docuseries on serial killers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that doesn't even count the books and the newspaper articles and the magazine articles and everything else. That's just the topics of conversation amongst people.
Yeah.
It's, oh my God. In the theater, I sat there and I was like, that's true. That's true. And it's even more true to me now.
It's absolutely. I mean, Manhunter on Netflix, those first 2 seasons.
Yeah. Great.
It's so true. And you look at the movie, it's one of those rare moments or one of those rare films where Brad Pitt is not the guy with the upper hand. Like, he is emotional, he is angry, he is like, he's cocksure, he's overconfident, he gets himself in multiple situations where he has to get bailed out, even so much so that John Doe has him in the rain with the gun to his head. And in the end, when he says that to him, he goes, shut up, you're a fucking movie of the week, you're a t-shirt. He tries to denigrate him, but the whole time, John doesn't fight back, doesn't go after him, because he knows Gwyneth Paltrow's head's in a box, man.
Yeah, the wrath is coming. Become wrath.
God.
And he knows.
That's the moment. Moment.
Dude. The fact that the studio wanted to cut that scene out.
Yeah, what?
And Pitt and Morgan Freeman are like, I'm not doing this movie if you take that out, flat out. Like, that is the movie.
Yeah, that is absolutely.
And when you see him with the gun and he's on the verge of completely being destroyed and the tears that are, he's fighting back and eventually he gives, I don't think there's a jury in the world that would convict him.
Yeah.
I don't. If I was on that jury, I'd be like, not guilty. He's not guilty. That dude deserved to die. We're all better that he's dead. If I opened that box and my wife's head was in there, I fucking would have killed him too.
Right.
And I don't know if I would have been as kind as to shoot him with a gun.
And especially because he coordinated. It's not like I stumbled upon my wife's head in a box. He had it sent to a location
fucking
where I would be.
DHL'd.
Yeah, DHL'd my wife's head in a box to me. So you can't convict me of anything because he planned it all, staged it, and he knew I'd have my weapon. He knew I was a cop. So he risked his own life by doing that. Yeah. But I mean, Kevin Spacey throughout the movie, I know he's persona non grata, and I totally respect that. But he's so excellent in this role. And Fincher, it's still like in my top 3 of his films always.
I watched it 2 weeks ago.
Really? Oh man. Yeah.
I was happy to. And I was like, I haven't seen that in a couple of years. Let's watch this again.
Yeah.
It's the fact that Kevin Spacey knew that he shouldn't go out and do press for this and shouldn't be on the poster. Like, it's also in he didn't want to have to go do press.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Kind of works.
He's been open about that, but it was smart if I go out there and do it, then it ruins the reveal that it's me and you know who the serial killer is.
Right.
So it makes, the fact that he is faceless until damn near the end of the movie makes for a better, like, you're just sitting there like, what type of individual does this? The victims that he takes it out on, like the model They cut off her nose to spite her face.
Right.
The defense attorney that got off the worst of the worst.
Oh.
A pound of flesh.
Oh.
And just over and over and over again, the way he chooses to take out the 7 deadly sins on these people.
Yeah, the gluttony. I mean, feeding the guy for a year.
Did he feed him for a year?
Or was it he starved the other guy for a year?
He starved the other dude for a year.
That's it. He starved the dude, but with the gluttony guy, he kept feeding him spaghetti.
Kept feeding him. And then eventually kicked him when he passed out, and that's what ruptured his stomach.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's just the guy that's holding the coroner that's holding his stomach, and like, look at the lines of distension on his stomach. And like, I don't even understand how that would be possible.
But and in amidst all of it is this great relationship between Freeman and Paltrow, and then Freeman and Pitt, 2 separate relationships that he develops that are so uniquely different yet unforgettable. And Pitt, there's Morgan. That's the thing that's so genius about the film. It gives you these moments of possibility, these moments of hope, just to dash it all at the end. It is brilliant. And when Morgan Freeman's in the library and hanging out with his guys who they know because he comes late at night to do this kind of research, there's a level of like nobility to him, right? He's like a knight almost. And then the scene with Gwyneth Paltrow in the coffee shop is so painfully heartbreaking. And it's the last time we see her. It's the last time we see her is in that coffee shop. And it's like, oh my God, And so what John Doe does is not only kill her, he kills the baby.
Yeah, he kills the baby. Oh, you didn't know?
Oh,
and just once again, not a jury in the world that convicts him. And I don't think a prosecutor brings charges, to be perfectly honest. I don't think this makes trial.
I've always wanted to see a sequel, but I've always been scared to see it.
How could you you can't do it.
I don't know. Does he go back? Does he try to go back? I don't know.
Dude, I don't want to see why he became the way he did. It's better that he just, that John Doe is.
Oh no, I mean like that Brad comes back or something, or Brad came back to the force maybe 10 years later or 5 years later. And now this is a new case that has resonance or has shades of what he experienced. And now he's the older cop. He's the Morgan Freeman.
Yeah,
and the young kids coming in. I don't know. And then he goes to see Morgan, maybe at his house, to have a conversation with him in a scene that would be cool. I don't know. It'd be tough to do, Matt. It'd be tough to do. That's for sure.
It's not out of the realm of possibility in that did you watch the Night Stalker docuseries?
Yeah, that was great.
The Ramirez. I didn't know the lead detective in that also was the guy that caught the Hillside Strangler.
Yeah, neither did I.
No idea. So the fact that one cop took down 2 serial killers, there has been real world precedent for that. So that's where, like, once you sell, like, he comes back and he's the older veteran. It's like, yeah, it's plausible, I guess.
Right.
There could be something there, although I don't really foresee either of them, especially Pitt, signing up for it, or Fincher.
I mean, the script would have to be so amazing.
Because the first one, it's just a classic.
The son of that cop married one of the victims, one of the women who survived.
Really?
Yes, one of the women who survived. So what a weird little
strange
world.
Yeah.
They apparently met at one of the court cases. And then from there. So strange little thing.
But he understands her trauma on some level.
Right.
I guess, I could anyway.
All right. So then my number 2 is Gordon Gekko from Wall Street.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. I just think he's that one of the rare Oliver Stone movies that still endures, and it doesn't stands the test of time. Okay. And we're still dealing with people who fuck with the stock market. We just had that GameStop situation that happened 2 weeks ago, all of that stuff. So still, this is a corporate raider. He goes in and he willfully destroys people's lives. He lies to their face. He encourages this kind of behavior. He lives high on the hog off what other people have made, and then just takes what they've done and destroys it piece by piece. What he tries to do to Martin Sheen's airline when thanks to Charlie Sheen giving him that tip, just the way he manipulates and uses everybody. Once again, this is a very real world villain, and that's just one small example of what this guy did in his life, and he's probably done it to multiple companies, ruined many people's lives, took all their monies, took all their savings, earnings,
Very true.
retirements, all that shit. So he's a villain. He isn't twirling his mustache. He isn't like, cutting people up. He is destroying people from the inside out by taking away any of their hope financially so that he could feel like he's a king of the industry with the money that he's making off these people. And he's ruthless in how he talks to Bud Fox. He's got this whole way of doing it. And then, of course, he ends up setting up Bud to go to jail in the long run. So, but yeah, just a truly unsettlingly vicious human being as a villain for me. And it's never left my mind. And he's got great lines as well, which makes it all the worse that he's a villain.
He's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. And don't see that sequel.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just not good.
It's not good. That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what's your number one?
Do you assume we both have the same number one?
I don't know, man. Maybe
Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. Woo.
I figured.
Okay.
No brainer. If you guys don't know who Darth Vader is, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I don't know why you listen to a movie podcast. I don't know what you can say.
Here's a 5-year-old going, fuck these guys. Yeah, Darth Vader.
Yeah, he's pretty terrible. So he is number one. I think he ended up being number one because created out of whole cloth.
Yes.
Obviously inspired by stuff that he grew up watching and whatnot to create the overall Star Wars. But find me another character that has that kind of cultural relevance and resonance.
Yeah.
He has top of the mind awareness with every age range.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're young kids now just getting into Star Wars, but they damn sure know who Darth Vader is. My grandma knows who Darth Vader is.
Yeah.
And if I said Vincent in Collateral, she may not know, or John Doe in Seven, but she knows Darth Vader. Just, I think that the overall, and look at how he got to be where he was and who he was.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I mean, how many planets has he destroyed, right? We see he gives the order for Alderaan, and Alderaan is that, he doesn't stop the order for Alderaan and all those millions of people. But how many planets has he killed? How many people has he killed throughout his entire life as being a villain? One of the greatest Jedis ever, and then one of the greatest Sith Lords ever. Not a lot of people could say that, and pretty incredible what he's able to do. And the voice from James Earl Jones, the resonance of it all, has still, for people who watched the new trilogy, the old trilogy, or the original trilogy for the first time when they're kids growing up, still feel that menace of Darth Vader. I mean, there was a video somebody put out maybe a year or so ago of it was a combination of people who showed their kids Empire Strikes Back for the first time after they'd seen Star Wars, and the tears when they discover that Vader's actually been
the look of shock.
Yeah, the shock.
What the fuck?
Not him. He's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the only guy on either of our two lists that we know for a fact he killed minimum 12 kids.
Yeah, at least. Yes.
At least.
Minimum. Right.
In that room, I'm guessing there was 12. It could have been 20. I don't know how many were in there, but we know he killed a room full of kids.
Yeah. A room full of kids. You have a hookah kiss. You could kiss.
Fucking the worst.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, there are two lists.
Yep. Oh, shit. I got to grab the bongos. I'll be right back.
All right, go for it. All right. Darth goes first. We all could agree on that. I would assume John Doe goes, because now technically he bumps up to my deuce, his 3. Yeah, so then John Doe. After that, I'm not sure. Because I got Vincent from Collateral 3, but I think John had it at 9, 10. I got Biff at 10 now, but that's his 10. All right, so I've got Darth at 1 and John Doe at 2.
Okay. Works for me.
Now, Vincent, I've got at 3, and you had that at 9?
At 9, yeah.
I don't think we have anything else except for Biff at 10.
I'm okay with moving Vincent all the way up if you want.
Well, just the commonality, and then we could probably go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have had him.
1 second.
All right. Let's warm it up a little bit.
Okay, so what's your next highest then?
Gordon Gekko at 2.
All right. Gekko. Highest?
Mm-hmm. For me, the next one is Noah Cross at 4.
Okay, I got Norman Stansfield from The Professional at 4. I don't have any coins on me. Do you have a coin?
Oh, good call. No, why don't you just put, no, that's fine. Put Stansfield ahead of him. It's not a big deal to me.
It's Noah
This
Cross,
was just a fun list to count down. So
Noah Cross?
Yeah, Noah Cross from Chinatown.
Okay. And then I got my 5. What do you got?
Yeah, 5 as well. Freddy Krueger.
All right, so then we'll do Freddy there.
Okay.
And Travis Bickle at 5. So next, so we have 2 spots left. We both have Biff.
Okay.
Did you put Little Bill on your list?
Yeah, let's put Little Bill in at 6. We'll take out the Terminator because I think you talked me to the fact that the Terminator is controlled by another entity. So that makes sense. All right, so we'll put Little Bill there.
Yeah, so Little Bill at 9 and then Biff Tannen at 10. We're done.
Perfect.
All right, there we go.
All right. The top 10 original villains in film, yeah. At number 10.
Biff Tannen.
At number 9.
Little Bill.
At number 8.
Travis Bickle.
At number 7.
Freddy Krueger.
At number 6.
Noah Cross.
At number 5.
Norman Stansfield.
At number 4.
Gordon Gekko.
At number 3.
Vincent.
At number 2.
John Doe.
And our number 1 original villain on film is
Darth Vader.
Vader. All right, there you go. That's our list, the official top 10 list for original villains in film. Thank you all so much for listening to us. And then what are we heading off to, Matt? Shout outs?
Well, I got Charles's list.
Oh, yeah, Charles' list. What's Charles' list?
And he writes briefly beforehand, villains can make or break a movie. They can make you feel fear, anger, and occasionally sympathy. And creating ones for the screen can be an incredible challenge. They can be dangerously intelligent or simply deadly creatures. For the sake of originality, I avoided villains not just based on previous works, but also those based on folk tales as well. If a character appeared in a film that was not in the work or a composite character, that was acceptable. All right, we did not choose to do that. I also tried to avoid characters that are anti-heroes. I included not just dramatic villains, but some comedic villains as well. I listed, so here we go. 10, he's got Biff Tannen.
Okay. Oh, yeah, nice.
9, Lord Business from the Lego movie.
Good choice.
8, Beetlejuice.
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about Beetlejuice.
Neither did I.
Damn, that's a good choice. Okay.
7 is Detective Lonzo Harris from Training Day.
Okay.
6 is Raul Silva from Skyfall.
Okay. Oh.
I just lumped them in as all Bond, and I was like, they're based on books.
Yep. I agree with you.
Then Rose Armitage or Armitage from Get Out.
Oh, yeah. She's a great choice.
She's a good choice. He said The Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Xenomorph.
Okay.
Koba from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Well, that's based on source material. Okay.
And Darth Vader.
Ooh.
That's his number 1.
There you go. Like it should be for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, for this type of list, I think it would be the general consensus number 1.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. Okay.
And, all right, so now we got our shout outs.
Let's do it. And thank you very much, Charles, for the suggestion of the topic and that list. Let's do it. Who starts? Do I start or you start?
Go for it.
All right. David Stephen.
Christine Bernat.
Andrew Robinson.
Francisco Ramirez.
Michael Bauer.
Colton Thompson.
Henrik Winterland.
Tom Daniel Williams.
Phil Knuckles.
Ryan Latonen.
Ray Roche.
Ryan Payne.
Colson Koliopoulos.
Callie Onken.
Justin Kelly.
Sorry, trying to scroll down, but my mouse is being stupid. Why will it not? There we go. Lachlan Skinner.
Benny Haste.
Charles Kim.
Joseph Curran.
Fred Castillo.
Edward Wilshire.
J. Scotty St. Clair.
What's up, J. Scotty? Charles J. Clark.
Sam Monsalvi.
Zachariah Kaufman.
Jeff Dickin.
Sean Labua.
Francisco J. Torres.
Connor Teal.
Michael D. Dyke.
Robert Francesco Sorace.
Michael Kelly.
Tim Reimert.
Brandon Monroe.
Dominic Reeves.
Eric Bruin.
Matt Simmons.
Kyle Beckworth.
Jeff Kelly.
Jeremy Bowers.
Joshua Stetz.
James Petty.
Billy Gilliams.
Christopher Brockman.
Blake Gant.
Haley Morton.
Cameron Chapman.
Alex Russell.
Bobby Michael.
Daniel McCarty.
Stephen Armstrong.
Paul Cree.
Drew Burkhart.
Stacy Flores.
Luke Allison.
Mark Fawcett.
Kristen Kurtz.
Bobby Carney.
Hey. Gareth Weldon.
Ian Horner. Timothy
R. Williams.
Chris Lemke.
In Love with the Movies podcast, Nick Baldwin.
Johanna Linaverta.
JIC 317.
DJ Red Hot Cox.
Ew. Kyle Spahn.
Ahmad Ali.
Darren Bush.
Angela Dashner.
James Winstead.
Bernie Knapp.
Sean Scott.
Louis Berrigan.
Josh Lawrence.
Chelsea Lewis.
Adelardo Fuente.
Reagan Lovig.
Rodrigo Valverde III.
Manuel Rivera.
Stephen Westaway.
Lawrence Witt.
Andre Constantinescu.
Steve Schluckebeyer.
Catherine Samuels.
Todd Whitkey.
Houston Bodily.
Roque Ariana.
Maurice Robinson.
Alan Snuffleupagus Bennett.
Marcus Davenport.
Brandon Caridi.
Ravi Prasad.
Joe Farrelly.
Charlie McKenna.
Gunnar R.
Mark Menchaca.
Josh Mabry.
Matthew Jansen.
Ben Cartwright.
Nizar Alabasi.
John Dowse.
Juan Breas.
Josh Murphy.
Josh Sachs.
George Menchaca.
Dale Varley.
Cody Markham.
Phil Neglia.
Chris Consiglio.
Wayne Murphy.
Ashley Prowse.
Edward Dobbins.
Johanna Schmidt.
Sujayanth Fernando.
Christian Lundgaard Kjoller.
Ian Brick Beltran Lopez.
Evan Zoller.
Thorsten Aumuller.
Eric Bluer.
Zach Butts.
Jacob Pullen.
Philip Lane.
Kevin Foss.
Jen Kemp.
Ryan McKenna.
Andy Tan.
Brian Akins.
Mike Shea.
Alexander Marzonia.
Garth Wisenant.
Deborah Torres.
Mike Barrington.
Ed Buskirk.
Jeff Saliba.
Noel Kelleher.
Jim Payne.
The Cinephiles.
Hey, David Mitchell Baker.
Andy Ortiz.
John Keefe.
Nathan Williams.
The great Kristen Smith.
Matthew Lee Cravens.
Marcel Berman.
James Trapani.
Drew Enns.
Dan Nye.
Seth Shearer.
Laura Deverson.
Andrew Hayes.
Matt Yund.
Andrew Marker.
Chris Jones.
Luke Larson.
Chris Cabrera.
Julian Key.
Robert Haley.
Robert Joey Anthony.
Christos Alexakos.
And Anthony Casanova.
There it is. There's everybody. There are your shout outs.
Thank you all so much.
Yes, we thoroughly appreciate it. And we hope you guys are, staying safe out there. You're all happy and healthy and doing well. And we're almost through it, guys. And we will see you on the other side. I don't know where I'm going right now. You know what I mean?
I was like, sure, we're almost through it.
Hey, I don't. My brain just started kind of spitting out. There we go. But our thanks to everybody that supports us. We thoroughly appreciate it. It has made this hell year a little bit easier, knowing that so many people out there support us. And, we look forward to interacting with you guys every month. Now we're going to be able to do that twice a month on the 2nd and 4th Thursdays of the month. You can tune in over there. We'll have the link up over at patreon.com/the top 10 with the number 10. Please join us.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoyed your shout outs. And you can follow me anywhere at Matt Nost. Check out Settle the Score and Dropping Dimes if you're into NBA basketball. And that is it for me this week.
There you go. My Wizards on a 4-game winning streak. Hi-oh! We're going to come back. We're on a
The
comeback.
Beal talk has died down, even though he said he does not want to be traded.
I might be getting that Russell Westbrook jersey yet. You can follow me. You can follow me at The Roca Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And hey, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, and a lot of you do, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well down below there and hit that like and leave a comment. All those things help us here on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on the podcast feed and you don't know we have a YouTube channel, you can go to youtube.com/the top 10
The Top 10 podcast.
Top 10 podcast, and go and find us there. All the shows we do on camera for you, so you can see our faces as we react to each other's choices for sure. So thank you all so much. Please, as I said, follow me at The Roca Says. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Roca Says. Go and take a look at that and see if anything there tickles your fancy and get involved in that as well. All right, we're out of here. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Practice social distancing. Wear your mask and come back and see us for another brand new episode of the Top 10 Show.